welcome back. Today I want to have a little conversation about elopement versus planned weddings. This is a topic I've seen brought up in my personal life on many accounts recently, and I just feel like it's something that is in need of a commentary from someone who has seen both sides of it. And I've seen it from different angles too, my own personal angle and through friends and family's lenses. So this is kind of where I'm at. I've been hearing a lot of people that are getting married, and everybody immediately jumps to, I want to get eloped. I want to go to a destination place. I don't want the stress. I just want it to be us and enjoy our relationship together. I get this. I felt this. I wanted to do this. This is obviously, the reason you're getting married anyway. I understand this point of view, this elopement, and I think this is originally what weddings were before the commercialized consumer culture took it over and really, pimped it out into making what it is today and adding all the pressure. And I can't speak to other countries, but I feel like it's very Americanized, where it's like the prom dress culture, like everybody goes, say yes to the dress show has the influence, and we're doing the cake and we're making it this whole rigmarole thing. And I feel like this is what we see as weddings today and what we're told our weddings need to be. But I don't think weddings were always this way. I think they used to be smaller gatherings, they used to be more intimate. People used to have closer relationships with their family members. And I do think there's some people that have that today, but a lot of situations that I'm witnessing where people choose elopement, it is due to having less family members or less close relationships with family members. So I do understand that as a point, but I think that people don't consider what weddings are in a larger context and what marriage is, where you're bringing together two lineages and two families. And I think that point needs to be considered, and I argue for that because personally, I didn't originally. This is something that my partner convinced me on, and it had me convinced in order to have a wedding. And I do agree with this point now, and after going through with it, I do think it's worth it, because this is the only time your families are ever going to meet each other in full. Cousin meet cousin, or at least parents meet parents, especially if people are across the country or the world. This is the one event that brings everybody together, aside from perhaps a funeral or maybe a very big child's birthday. So these things are rare, and I don't think that they're given enough credit for what they are. And it is your day. It is your day to celebrate your love for each other and your commitment to each other. But it also is the point of having people witness your union and having those people be able to support you during your marriage. A lot of people don't think of it as that, but that is what it has been historically, and in a way can still be. So I do argue that is an important point and something that should be considered, is these people are there to support you in that day, but they're also there to support you in the entire marriage itself. So that should be given more value than I think is considered in most engagements and most marriages today. I see the stress-free atmosphere as a really good positive to elopement, and I do think that is a thing. I ended up getting married in Vegas. I have a video on my channel about that and how we went about doing that, where we did that, and the planning behind that, because it was relatively stress-free for being a wedding. And I think that was because of how streamlined Vegas has weddings. It was a planned wedding with a pretty short engagement in Vegas. So we had family come, we had about 100 people. It was a blast, but it ended up being quite a big thing, but it was relatively stress-free because of how easy weddings are in Vegas. So I think that when people do destination weddings, they think with smaller amounts of people and less things, it'll be less stressful. And I think there's always going to be some level of stress because of what a big emotional situation and emotional investment it is overall. So I think there is that. Overall, it is lessened when you have less people. It is lessened when you go somewhere that isn't your norm. I think there can be a lot of baggage that's carried if you're doing it in a hometown, and there's a lot of guilt if you don't invite certain people and do those things. And I think going somewhere else can eliminate that. When it comes down to it and it's about your love and you celebrating your love with your partner and you joining together in marriage, I think a lot of things have to be considered, and you make your priorities what they are and you can execute on them. And I think that's the most important thing. So if you think family is the most important, then even if it's the most stressful thing, you can find a way to lessen the stress with your family. I don't think everybody needs to do a rehearsal dinner. We ended up doing a kind of rehearsal dinner brunch the next day, and there were a lot of hungover people, but it was really fun. And we didn't do the bachelor and bachelorette parties. We didn't do the wedding party special people thing. Everybody was there, everybody was equal. We didn't have the stress of having to do all those extra events. We did the bachelor and bachelorette parties the night before, which we thought would keep it a little bit low key, but kind of didn't. But things like that, like there's just, you can get creative with how you do things, and you don't have to do all of the wedding things. I think there's a lot of stress that comes with trying to think that you need to do a destination bachelorette party and a destination bridal shower and all of these events. And it's also stressful on those friends that have to pay for and organize those events. So there's a lot of things considered here, but I just wanted to argue for the point that when a lot of people are considering elopement the easy choice, in the long run, I won't say there's regret, but I do see it as not considering all of the options and how creative you can be in the process. So without further ado, just think about it, think of all the angles of each one, and do what you want to do in the best way you can to not only honor your love for each other, but honor the lineages that you're bringing together. That would be my point here. But thank you guys for listening, and I hope you have a good one. Bye.